Welcome back to the channel.
Hello there.
Here with a special guest of mine, a longtime friend of mine, Mr. John Schmidt.
Greetings and salutations.
How you doing, John?
Oh, you know me. I can't complain. How you doing?
Not too bad myself.
Pretty good.
If you're tuning in today, you're checking out another glorious, not all that glorious, episode of Hardcore Fiction. And today's topic, we're talking just whatever the hell comes to mind. But one of the things we're going to start off with, of course, today is the biggest thing that probably everybody on the internet's talking about right now, is the Snyder Cut.
Oh, man. I was impressed. I'm going to be honest, really. You know, the first time the Justice League movie came out, I was nonplussed. I didn't think it was bad necessarily, but I didn't really love it either. The new one, though, wow.
Yeah.
It definitely felt more like The Watchmen, which I think it was, you know, it was supposed to, in a sense. I like that about it, honestly. I think that's a good thing.
I think that's what everybody was expecting to happen. They wanted something on that caliber of, like, just, you know, page for page for, like, a comic book. And
yeah.
I, for one, loved every second of the 4 hours that were there. I'd watch it again. And I have, and I've watched it again, and I'll probably will watch it again.
And again. Watched it the once.
It was great, yeah.
It pushed so many things out of my mind about the way that it used to be.
Yeah.
I looked up pictures of Steppenwolf, the way he looked in the other movie. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, it's weird too because I thought he looked so
like a rat that crawled out of the lint
yeah,
trap in the
yeah,
dryer or something.
Like I don't know, it was weird looking, and no, they definitely made him more creature. Like he looked like a creature, like a.
Well, he's a resplendent warrior now too. You know, like he's ready to kick something's ass.
The first cuts, he came off more of like a, I don't know, like a religious fanatic almost, like very a little too much. You know, like he had that same kind of spirit as like the lady from the movie The Mist, the one who started like, you know, telling everybody like to start praying. Like he had that kind of presence to him, like a fanatic. You know.
Yeah.
And this one portrayed him much more of like the loyal like soldier, you know, like trying to gain favor back, but not being so, I don't know, like over the top about it, I should say, you know.
Well, I mean, yes, I agree. I think that in the first, I think I really only saw the first one once or maybe twice. But I just felt so whatever about him. He seems so metacular. Like, what's so great about this guy anyway? But now, as soon as you see him, you're like, well, fuck, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh, God!
Yeah.
Here we go. What's gonna happen now?
And he looked more alien-like. It was more of an alien, like, his hands, he had the extra 2, like, digits on the side that, you know, his axe even had a different look to it.
Yeah,
you know?
I saw the extra fingers, too. I'm like, hey, what can those fingers do?
Let's talk about the armor.
Oh, yeah, the armor.
That armor was something else.
It's like a living suit of armor.
Yeah, like feathers, quills, almost, if you would. Like it had a really unique look to it. It looked otherworldly. It looked like something from another world, which is perfect. I mean, that's what it is. He's an alien.
Yeah. Well, I saw a picture of that, just like a still shot picture, a few months ago, I guess. And they just compared it to, you know, like the Star Wars special editions. Like, they were just going to cover him with way more details, and that was going to be it. But watching it and seeing it move, it was...
Well, even his face and his eyes, like, everything. It was different.
Yeah. His old look made him look like sort of a homeless person. And now, like... His face is kind of like more like this squinched up, like almost cat-like in its appearance.
Yeah,
it's no longer like just this sad, forlorn human type. It's more creature-like. Yeah.
Well, Ellie was blown back by it too when she saw like when he sees Darkseid and his armor kind of like dematerializes back, and he like reveals his face and his body, you know, like that was really cool. I was like, that is awesome. Like,
well, the Darkseid stuff.
Oh man, come on.
And Desaad, they threw him in there. I was wondering where the hell he was last time. I was like, well, he should be at least doing something.
Yeah, he should at least be on the phone, and he was on the phone.
He was on the phone. Much, but seeing him there made me, you know, I was like, okay, this is the fucking Justice League now.
Yeah, no, it felt, and everybody had their time to shine. Everyone had their time to shine, and I love that. I mean,
and I'm not as fluent in DC as you are, but I'm thinking when we saw that portal at the end, and the Apocalyptians are all standing there.
Yeah.
There's the one with like the wispy gray hair. Is that Granny Goodness?
Yes.
Is that? I thought that's what that was.
That's Granny Goodness. Yes. That
yeah,
is
I
her.
hooted and hollered about that. I was like, Granny Goodness, and Julie's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Ellie saw her, and that's the only thing Ellie said. She goes, "Fucking Granny Goodness."
Yeah.
Like, Ellie knew it right away. She's like, "Yeah, that's her." Like, she doesn't look creepy enough. She's like, she doesn't look creepy enough. She looks like a lady, and I don't think like.
Yeah, she looked like a B. Arthur warrior.
Yeah, like, you know, if you see Granny in the comics or in the animated series or anything, she's like a creepy old woman, but like kind of manly. I don't know how to explain it.
That's
yeah.
how I always remember
like,
seeing her in the comics. I never did see her the cartoon appearances, but
it was amazing.
Yeah, I remember the comics.
She's
a great
villain.
She's a great villain, old lady, basically.
Great villain. I
like
love her.
Like a B. Arthur type.
Yeah.
Warrior like.
Exactly, B. Arthur. I think. Yeah. I loved it though. And I had a little bit of a problem with Darkseid at first when I first saw the shots of him. I'm like, it's weird. They gave him like this weird like chest cavity symbol looking kind of thing. I don't know. Like he has the Omega
like the
symbol.
Horseshoe.
Yeah, it's the Omega symbol.
It's like right. Yeah, it's like it's part of him as well.
Yeah,
like it's not just a decoration for the chest piece. Now it's like this concave in his chest.
It's part of him.
It's part of him, right?
Well, when I saw it, when I saw it in the movie and I actually got to see it in polished off and in motion and stuff, I was like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I thought they did a really good job.
I love how they portrayed the younger version of him, like chest out.
Yeah,
the
younger
straight
warrior, Darkseid,
with the spear in his hand. I loved that. And then you see him again, and that's Darkseid, the ruler, the king. He's got the armor. He's got the headdress.
Flashback of him fighting Atlanteans.
Oh my god!
And then fucking Omega beams. I'm like, whoa! They did it. They're all zigzagging everything. Awesome.
It was just for a second.
Fucking
That's
awesome.
That's all I asked for.
Yes,
that's all I
just
wanted.
The one quick
just
flash.
Give me one. Can I get one shot of him?
Show me the Omega beam.
Yep.
Show him to me.
I fanboyed really hard, dude. When I watched that, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I love seeing Darkseid. He's my favorite villain ever.
He's definitely in my top 5. Yeah.
Like I remember I was doing other stuff. I had to play it on the laptop, and I looked over and I seen him show up, and I stopped everything I was doing. I turned around, and I was like, "Oh my god, he looks amazing! Look at him! Like look at him, glowing eyes and everything."
What I thought too was maybe just as exciting as seeing Darkseid finally was the fact that they brought up the anti-life equation.
Yes.
Regularly enough, so it wasn't just like a quick spin-off, whatever, blah blah blah. They just throw it out there for the fan, like the Omega beams. That was fan service. We wanted to see it, we did.
Yep.
But they made it so like that's potential ongoing whatever.
I hope so. And there's a huge movement, I guess, another movement coming up again right now, being like, oh, like let's restore the Snyderverse. Let's give him another movie. Let's give him at least. I would love to see at least 2 Justice League movies, and then if they want to end it there with that whole thing, by all means. But I would like to see at least one more. And I've said this many times that I'm a little exhausted on the comic book movies. I'm a little bit exhausted on them.
Well,
a little burnt out.
I think we all are at this point.
Because there's too much too soon. I think there's just a lot. I mean, and we've been doing it for what? Since 2002. The first comic book movie came out in 2000. It was X-Men, wasn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
I shouldn't say the first comic book movie, which is the first of this huge craze.
The new wave of comic book movies. Yes. I think it was that. Yeah, it was 2008. They had Iron Man and the Hulk.
Iron Man and the Hulk.
And that was. I didn't know it then. It didn't seem like it was going to be connected to anything necessarily. It was like, we got a Hulk movie, we got Iron Man. Okay, what do you think? I was like, okay, I guess. I don't even think I saw them that summer. I saw The Dark Knight.
Of course I did, yeah.
I remember once standing in the driveway with Pete, like, you guys want to see Batman? He's like, you want to see the Hulk again? Because we both saw one. He saw the Hulk, I saw Batman. I was like, I'll go see Batman again. He's like, I'd see the Hulk again. I was like, By that point, I already struggled through the Ang Lee Hulk, and I just didn't really want to...
Ang Lee struggled through the Ang Lee Hulk.
You could tell. I could feel his struggle. But, yeah. That's when it really started kicking off. And then, I guess, in a mirror universe kind of way, the new DC cinematic universe sort of started with the Man of Steel. I mean, as far as congruent pieces in this.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're sort of at the point now where we can't really think the Nolan trilogy of Batman movies necessarily intersects with this. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'd be more inclined to think the Michael Keaton Batmans are coming from where they're trying to go with this Batman.
Oh, for sure.
Because Alfred even says the thing about, I sure miss fighting robotic penguins or something
one
like
misses
that.
the day when one's biggest problems were wind-up exploding penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems to almost be calling back to that era of Batman as opposed to the Nolan Batmans.
For sure.
Which, it's okay. But, yeah, it seems to me like they were doing
Nolan
an
was
Iron Man thing with the Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Like, the Man of Steel was like their kickoff for that.
Nolan's Batman I enjoyed a lot when I was younger, and I enjoyed it because of the whole origin story was just spot on. I loved it. You got to see all the twists and turns that he did, that journey of him becoming Bruce Wayne to becoming Batman. And I love that because not a lot of the movies show that, if any.
Right.
Showed that. We got that in the cartoons, and we got that in the comics, of course, but you never saw it on film. And I thought,
it was just kind of like a callback.
Yeah.
It was like a flashback scene, and then that was that.
Yeah.
Moved on.
For sure.
It was more about, like how he learned to be Batman, how he adjusted to life as a rich crime-fighting vigilante in the dark city.
But Ben Affleck's Batman, I enjoy it. I like his look. I love the presence that he has got. I like the whole what am I looking for right now? The veteran hero. I love that presence that he's got. I like that a lot.
I suppose I can appreciate that too.
Come on, man. At the end of the movie, when they show him standing on top of the tank, he's standing on the tank from The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows me knows that is my favorite version of Batman. Like, that is my all-time favorite version of Batman, is the Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah.
The old, no bullshit's given anymore. He doesn't give a fuck. He's going to break your face, and it doesn't matter what you stole. You could have stole a candy bar, and he's going to snap your neck in half because you stole a candy bar and he's done with your shit. The angry grandpa kind of feel, I like that.
Yeah, it seemed from a design perspective they were trying to take the Batman thing more along the lines of the Frank Miller Batman, but also the video game Batman. In a way.
You can
do the Arkham game,
in the suit specifically.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's just overall look really kind of
the suits, the gear, everything is from the game. Yeah, from the game for sure. And I don't know. I love the whole scene with him in the Batmobile. Like, dipping in reverse and freaking giant unloading with the turret gun and the giant heavy tank.
Yeah.
Like the heavy artillery gun on the top and everything.
I did enjoy that, too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because when you see it in the other version of it, it's really fast. He just kind of drives in there and does some spinning around, and it's like 2 or 3 minutes. I've timed it.
Okay.
It's like 3 minutes. He's doing this little thing, and then he gets saved by Wonder Woman and the rest of the gang.
And I really don't... Yeah, the original cut or the theatrical cut or whatever is still kind of just sort of drifting out in my memory, but it seemed to me like everything just kind of happened really fast.
Yeah.
It was a long enough movie, but it just seemed like they kind of threw you into everything. Like, that's what I loved about the new cut so much, is when you see Steppenwolf go to establish his base, it's this old Russian town no one can live in anyway because of a nuclear disaster, a la Chernobyl or something.
Yeah.
And they explain all that. I don't feel like that was explained in the other one.
No,
they were just kind of there, and it was pretty looking.
And there's people there too, like families and stuff. Like some family that some random family that we didn't even know and show anything else about, except for the little girl had a can of Raid and she was hiding underneath the table from the parademons.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like, they feed on fear, but then they should have eaten that whole town by then, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's just so I feel like they just did a way better job of setting things up. They set up the board way better in this one because they had the time to do it. And I almost do feel like certain scenes kind of dragged a little long. But for the most part, I can't specifically call out to mind. I do remember there was one where I think he's trying to make that jet work, and it's just him and Wonder Woman, and they're having a long talk about something, and then it felt like there was just 5 minutes where they're kind of just standing there looking at each other, and there's music playing, and it's like, okay, all right, we get it. Yeah. It seemed like sometimes they were really trying to drag you into it.
Well, you mean when she's telling the story? When she's telling the story and he's working on the plane a bit over there?
It just I don't know. It just felt like there were parts where there was really nothing going on.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's okay. I'm okay with because that's that is something I love too about the Nolan Batman trilogy. Is you do see this pensive Batman. He's just standing on a building, staring down at the city, thinking about stuff. There's no dialogue, there's no action. It's just like a scene. It's just like a shot, and that's cool. But
I never designed a zipper on the bat suit. I really gotta pee.
But yeah. I felt like this one was paced more aptly for the kind of movie it was.
Yeah.
I thought it gave it the time that it deserved. I mean, most people I do feel are kind of impatient when it comes to a 4-hour-long movie, but there was so much stuff in there.
There's a lot going on.
Right.
It was other movies put together, I feel. It was like you were jumping into these other people's lives, and it felt like they already had something established and something going on.
Yeah.
And I liked that. We didn't go into watching Cyborg and watch his whole journey to becoming Cyborg, or we didn't hop into Barry Allen's life, him struggling and then getting struck by lightning.
Right.
Like, we didn't have to see all that. We know who these characters are.
Right.
We see them. They're in front of us, and they're living, and it felt genuine. Like they felt like they did have like day-to-day lives that we were like watching and seeing part of, and I liked that.
Yeah. It made the circumstances of their lives seem more important or more pertinent, I guess, to the story. I feel like too we got more Cyborg in this one and less Superman.
It was Cyborg's movie.
Yeah,
it was Cyborg.
I love what he adds,
and it was amazing. Cyborg's one of my favorite DC characters of all time. He's definitely on my top 5.
Yeah,
and I love Ray Fisher's portrayal of him. The voice is silky smooth. He's got a silky smooth voice.
Yes,
and he looks like him. He
does. He pulls it off. Yeah,
he reminds me of the Cyborg from the old 80s comics. The classic Teen Titans one. He looks like that to me when he's in the full gear. I'm like, and he has the hoodie on, over the mechanical thing. I think he looks so cool. I'm like, man, I love Ray Fisher as Cyborg. He's amazing.
Well, he was the one I was most impressed with when we saw it years ago.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I was overall from the movie. That's the part I came away with. I was most impressed with what they did with Cyborg's character.
Where's his movie?
Right.
Give me his movie.
He is in that Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've watched all Doom Patrol.
Okay, cool. I think we saw 6 or 7 episodes. I'm not sure how many there are.
Speaking of Cyborg, though, fucking Atom. The Atom was in there, too.
When?
The Asian gentleman.
That's supposed to be Ray Palmer?
No, it's the other one, the one after him.
Oh, the other Atom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that takes the man after Ray Palmer retires. Or he gets lost or killed or something. I can't remember right off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
But I do remember he's the next generation.
Well, they did keep showing him like he was going to do something, and I'm like, who's he supposed to be?
Yeah, he's the next generation.
I remember saying that to Julie. I'm like, I feel like he's going to be somebody or supposed to be somebody. It's going to
That's
be.
That's going to be cool. I hope they come back to it because I like that guy. His acting and his swagger and the way he carries himself. I was like, that's like he's.
Yeah.
I know who this is, and I was like, the name. I know the name, and I kept hearing it, and I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But then I went in and I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, that's who that is. I knew it. Star Labs. I should have known it. It's all there.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Okay.
The musical choice for the movie was me and Ellie's big problem too. Some of the music was just a bit too. I don't know. Some parts just didn't need to be as epic sounding as they were. Well, Wonder Woman walks into a room and I'm like, oh my god! Like she's getting a glass of water, man. I'm surprised they didn't have it playing when she's making her tea. Like for real, like it was a bit much. They didn't need to keep playing that. Yeah,
it's like an orchestra.
Yeah,
narrating.
And one of our friends told us about that. Chad Trapp was telling us, he was like, yeah, man, like she's their moneymaker right now. She's the biggest thing they have going now, so they're gonna highlight her as much as they can with the music and make everybody turn heads and look at her when she's on screen.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
the new Superman.
But I thought it was a bit much, though. It was a bit too much for my
Well, and that sort of is what I was trying to say too about the things that dragged on too long sometimes. Like there were these moments where she was, if she's fighting the parademons or whatever, I understand the slow motion and the music. But there were scenes too where it seemed like she was just walking around, like just doing whatever. Yeah. Looking for a bathroom. And it was like, oh.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
It's like, okay.
How'd you feel about the slow mo scenes? Was that too much for you? Was there not enough?
Somewhere in between. I wouldn't say it needed any more slow motion. I don't think they necessarily used too much. I don't know. It's about things Chad Trapp said. I feel like I take in movies differently now. Yeah. With age, I think I would have been more impatient about this if I was 5 or 10 years younger, but looking at it now, I'm like, well, okay, because like I'm saying, it's setting the pace, it's setting the tone. There's a lot of that. There was a lot of place setting in it, but I think that was appropriate too, for the most part. I dug also how like the climax of the movie happens, and then there's still like 25 minutes of stuff. I'm okay with that though. Like me, as an avid fan, I'm okay with that. But I'm saying, like as a younger person, I'd be like, okay, well, you made the big thing happen, and now we're still just walking around figuring out what to do for another 20 minutes. But that was cool too, because I do think with that at the end, it does leave a lot of things open for future movies.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like everything I've seen in the news and whatever, we're trapped in production hell about this. And they don't know if they'll be able to make any more Justice League movies with this cast or this and that and whatever. And we don't know if Henry will come back as Superman. And
there's so much mixed stuff out there.
They already got that Vampire Boys, the new Batman, and that's like a totally other place in time. Like they're doing like a 0-year thing with that Batman. And then, I mean, they would kind of have to.
Different universe, different thing. The multiverse thing. And I'm okay with that. I'm alright with that. And that's what the big epilogue scene was a big hit with that, too, is like, because Joker says how many timelines.
Right.
How many different timelines.
Right.
And that lets you know
that whole thing was crazy, too. I forgot about that. Like, the very end, when they do that far-flung future deal, it's like, you do kind of wonder... I mean, is this even the same timeline we just watched?
I don't think it is.
Is this the future of the movie we just watched, or is it a different Earth?
I don't think it is, because the Joker doesn't have any of his face tattoos. He's got a whole different set of teeth. He's got a whole different kind of presence of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
And Batman, also. Batman, the way they said something about how they killed Robins, and he talked about multiple people that died from that.
Yeah, it's like he knows something about loss or something along those lines.
He knows his name.
Yeah.
And I see that, and I'm like, this is a whole different thing. Like, I think back on the Flashpoint Paradox comics in the movie, the Flash was having like seizures, and he was having waves of mix of the future and presence because it was shocking his brain and whatever. And he was seeing like the different futures that were in different timelines, different pasts that were in different timelines, and everything was just mixing up in his head. I think because Batman is playing such a crucial part to the timelines, that his mind is connecting through those timelines, that's why he's having those dreams.
Okay.
And I also think it could have been another theory of mine is that it's the Martian Manhunter that's messing with his brain.
Oh. Yeah, giving him like visions or something.
Giving him visions and sight for him to see. But if it was him, he might have said something when he talked to him. But also, he didn't say anything to anybody else ever. Like, where the hell was he with the whole fight at the end anyways?
Well, okay. What was it? In the new 52s, by the time the Justice League gets to, like, issue 12 or so, it is just your big Justice League. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman,
Shazam.
The Flash. I don't think Shazam showed up yet.
In New 52s?
Well, not at this point that I'm referring to. It was the first appearance of the Martian Manhunter in the New 52s. Because he had his own team. He was off in, not Doom Patrol, but Stormwatch or some weird-ass thing. They had a base that was a satellite. And then that was one of the New 52s I don't think that made it past 12 issues. That one just sort of fizzled out. But there was a scene... And I remember reading up to it, and it was a 2-page spread. It was the Martian Manhunter was talking about the Justice League, and he said, they're not ready yet. And then it shows this flashback scene that you never even read about in the comics, but the Martian Manhunter is fighting all of them at once. He is in the middle of a fight with everyone in the Justice League that they had so far, and he's kicking all their asses. And so it was like, it was just to test them, basically, to see if they're really ready for interstellar invasions and all this other stuff. So I think the Martian Manhunter we see at this point, the end of this new movie, is finally admitting to someone that he's been watching, and he thinks they're probably going to need to, work up their game, get their shit together. Throw Jon Stewart in there.
I was literally just about to say, there's a shot of Kilowog on his back dead. There in the one of the flashbacks. I think it's Kilowog.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure it's Kilowog.
Okay.
When they flash over the Justice League, the Hall of Justice, like destroyed, and you can see Superman kind of floating there.
Oh yeah.
When Cyborg has that vision himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I like that too. The different little glimpses we see from different characters. Like, sometimes it's the mind of Batman, sometimes it's Cyborg, like putting together all these potentialities. Like his mind is processing where this chain of actions is going to lead us eventually. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
I love that part.
That was great.
Again, yeah, Cyborg really just stole the show for the most part. I thought his whole deal was great. I think that made the movie really kind of meta-tacular.
Well, and I love, too, like, we're going to go back to the whole thing talking about how everybody had their own, like, individual feel and their moment to shine in the sun. I love that they actually made the Flash feel like the Flash, because in the other cut, when they're fighting Superman at the beginning, Superman's keeping up with the Flash, kind of, but it looks like he's, like, underwater.
Yeah.
So he's fast, he's really fast, but he's not quite where the Flash is at his time.
Yeah.
And I love that, when they show the Flash running and moving, like, Superman got hit by that explosion, too. Like, they show him regenerating, too, from that explosion. Like, he wasn't that fast.
That was a little something, yeah.
And I love that they really show you, like, this guy is the one this is that changing ripple in time effect that is caused by him. And I think that's where it's all going to come from, is him stopping that from happening is what's going to cause that rip through the timelines.
I feel like they overall handled the Flash better in this version. Mm-hmm. Just because, I don't know, when we saw the theatrical one, I felt, especially by the second half of the movie, just sort of vaguely annoyed by the Flash's character. I feel like they took all of his good jokes and put them in the trailer, though, too. Like, all of the whatever, like, the ha-ha moments the Flash ever had, they were already in the trailer, and so you're kind of like, well, yeah, okay, Flash. Heard that one already. But he seemed more well-paced and original in this one. And they changed the angles of the special effects, too, so you didn't as often see him running like a goose trying to get away from a coyote or something,
Right,
like he had that really wacky run, which makes sense because of how fast he's running, you would probably have to lean into it pretty hard.
Right, but it still looked kind of weird.
They made it look better in this one. Like, he didn't look all gawky and goony just running through things. Like, he looked more...
Well, and there wasn't that random thing that happened, too, at the end of the movie where it's like, oh, have you guys seen outside? And it's like, everything's all, like, green and, like, lush and flowers blooming and shit. I was like... What's that? Okay, well, alright, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like they fixed the timing or the delivery of his funny
lines. He felt more genuine. It felt
more natural. Yeah. Like
I do enjoy his like little bit too much caffeine attitude though when he's talking. Like he's kind of going around. He's literally talking circles around you, kind of thing, and I like that.
Right.
But I like Barry Allen in the cartoons and the comics and stuff. Like I love the Flash.
Oh, I love the Flash.
Barry
as
Allen,
a character.
Wally West, like they're both
particularly
great, yeah.
Right. Particularly the Barry Allen Flash. It's always been my favorite. But I mean, yeah, Wally West is pretty damn good too.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, Barry Allen, come on. Come on, that's the Flash we all want to see.
Oh yeah.
Well, that too. Is that supposed to be Iris then? That he saved in the car?
Yep.
That whole thing was never even in the other movie, was it?
Nope.
I was gonna say that to me too. I really felt like I was watching a whole new movie. There were parts of it that seemed familiar to me, but overall, the scope of it, the way that they treated it, it seemed like it was another movie. Like it seemed like there was a couple, kind of like the the Evil Dead movies. Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Yeah, everyone knows Evil Dead 2 is way better, and it's kind of the same movie, but it's not, and it's way better.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of what I feel like we got with this.
Yeah, that's one of the best ones I've seen. I've heard yet. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's how it feels. It just seems like they knew when to wait and when to run. Versus the last one, it just seemed like everything was happening at once, and it was like, well, what the hell is all of this? Yeah.
Overall, though, for the Justice League Snyder cut, though, like overall, would you say it's immensely more entertaining than that?
It's way better. I think, the old Justice League that we saw in, 2017?
Yeah.
I would have given a maybe 6 out of 10. This one, I'd say, is a solid 8 or maybe even 9. 8 edging on 9. Definitely better.
I would give it a 9.
Yeah.
I would give it a solid 9 for me.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it was all around just great movie. I love it. Like I said, I plan on watching it again. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it immediately. And I love how they break it up into chapters, so you don't have to sit there and watch the whole 4 hours.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
can sit
nice
there and
too.
stop at a I think it's a good stopping point. More movies need to take that note and do things like that. I like that.
Because we did that the first night we were watching it. Because it is 4 hours.
Yeah,
we watched about 2.5 hours worth, and we're like, okay, it's time for bed. But it was right. Yeah, it was right when those segues happened. Like, all right, well, let's stop now then. Like, let's cut it off here, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow. And we did, and it was awesome. Yeah.
One more quick thing too, since we've already kind of touched base on all the characters. Forgot about the big man in blue, Superman.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about the new suit?
It was a new suit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I noticed Superman looked a lot better, and his face looked a lot more natural. Like, it didn't have that weird digital knot mustache look.
Because those were none of the shots. None of those shots were used.
I didn't see any of that. Yeah, that was very alarming at the time. Maybe that's too strong a word, but it was really off-putting. Like, you see it, and you just know, like, something looks wrong. Like, it looks like a cross between Superman and Mr. Peanut or something. It's like, what the hell? What the hell's wrong with his face? But this one, yeah, there was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing that took me out of the scene when that happened. I still love that fight. That's my favorite moment in both movies is when Superman's getting his whoop on, and the Flash runs up, and then you just see his eye just dart right to him. I'm like, yeah!
And you see his face drop. Oh, God.
Right. He was not expecting
Superman's looking
that.
at me.
Right.
Yeah. I like that. The problem I had with that scene, though, was when Lois shows up. And she's like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, we should leave. And he hugs her, and he flies away. And you hear a
sound barrier break.
And I'm like, "Okay, so Lois is dead now." You're gonna get to Smallville, and you're gonna have like just stains on your arms because you just pasted your girlfriend with the freaking sound barrier.
Her neck's just snapped, and it's hanging there like a broken doll.
Good luck flying backwards in time for that one, Soups. No, I loved this version of Superman because he wakes back up and he feels. It feels like the same Superman from Man of Steel, but a little bit, just enough change to him. A little bit more change on him. He's a little bit more, you can tell he's got a little bit more of that cockiness in him, because now he knows, like, I can take all these guys.
Yeah.
And he does that again when they do the swipe by with the claws on his face. He just kind of like the... you missed really big with that. And then he starts just UFC ground and pounding Steppenwolf, and I love how nobody stops him.
Yeah,
they're just kind of standing there watching Superman just beat the bricks off of this fucking dude on the ground.
Look at him go!
And I love how he kind of does the chin up, like essay, kind of like, hey, "What's up, Vato?" to the freaking dark side. He just kind of looks at him like, "What's up?
Yeah,
you coming out to play or what?" I love that. And I want to get a. That
was a good one.
I want to get a screenshot or a still of Darkseid's face when Desaad looks at him. He's like, "I told you Steppenwolf would fail." And Darkseid just kind of turns slowly and looks at Desaad like,
"You sure you want to have said that?"
Like, shut the fuck up, Desaad. Nobody's talking to you. Told you sucked. And I love the tone when he Desaad first walks in the scene. He's like, Steppenwolf. In my head, I'm like, fucking Steppenwolf. Like, that's pretty much what Desaad says. Like, oh god, this guy again. Ugh. I loved it though. It was a great movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely much more fond of this new one than the old one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Great movie.
Yeah, they really fucking did it. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's where I'm at now. As a fan, I do hope that the DC movies sort of continue on somehow in this fashion, despite all rumors to the opposite about production and Warner Brothers and licensing and contracts and all this, the who's a what's
yeah.
You know, like, I hope they can just move past all that and get these guys together for another fucking Justice League movie. Take on the whole apocalyptic army.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what you'd have to do. You don't want to milk it for 2 more movies. Do the apocalypse stuff in 1 movie. Make it 4 hours if you have to.
Again, yeah.
And then...
be done.
No. Make another movie.
No!
The third one, then, is about the Anti-Monitor and the multiverse and basically Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's what they could do with the third one. And then they could make anything with any actor and it wouldn't matter because it's multiverse.
Or we can go down this path. Check this one out. You start the movie off at, let's say, a year or two after this movie happened. Shit's already hit the fan. Apocalypse is here.
Right.
They're fighting. They're fighting back. It's almost to that point where you think it's going to be that same timeline that you see there.
Right.
But then midway through, he finds the antilife equation, and it's not the antilife equation. It's the equivalency of the mother box, but to the anti-monitor. So basically what that does is it lights a beacon and lets you know that it's there.
Okay.
So he does find the antilife equation, but the antilife equation is how the mother box is the dark side to the anti-monitor. So that's basically calling him. So you call something even bigger than dark side to this world.
I suppose, they could go that way. And then the third movie would kind of be like Final Crisis.
Well, that way, I mean, you could have the first 2 hours of dark side shit, then the last 2 hours could be anti-monitor stuff. That way you wouldn't need to make a whole other movie after that.
Right. Or they could, I don't know. But I mean, they could take a page from Final Crisis too and just have Darkseid kill Batman at the end of the next movie.
That would be sick.
I'm just saying. That would be something we can all really say holy fuck about, and I would.
So we're gonna flip on a subject real quick to other things that are sizzling, that are hot out there in the interwebs and all the other shit that nerds and everybody else are talking about, and nerds and not nerds are talking about.
Hot takes.
Let's talk about the fucking Mortal Kombat movie coming up, man.
I don't know anything about it.
No?
You just said something about it today to me that's coming out. I'm like, oh, okay.
It looks. I'm just gonna go over this quick then. It looks amazing. It looks like they're being really true to the first two stories. What it seems like, but it seems like we're not getting a Shao Kahn, which sucks.
Oh, how can you have Mortal Kombat without Shao Kahn?
They have a statue of him. They show in the trailer.
Oh, wait a minute. He's the big Babylonian warrior-looking one, right? Who am I thinking of?
The guy looks like Conan.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Shang Tsung.
No, he's in there.
Okay, I was going to say, how can you have Mortal Kombat without Shang Tsung?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody Shang Tsung tonight.
I like the look they gave Scorpion, though, and it looks... the guy that got played him is great.
Okay. I'll watch it. I don't know. I mean, it's probably going to be better than the first Mortal Kombat movie.
For sure.
Although, major props to Duncan MacLeod for being a great Raiden. Connor MacLeod.
Oh,
Duncan. Yeah. Jeez. Talking about the USA show.
Yep.
How embarrassing. Connor!
All right. What about the Ninja Turtles game coming out? Do you see anything about that?
I just saw a little thing about how it's going to be like another beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's a 16-bit classic side scroller.
Cool.
Old school shit that we used to have back in the day. I can always get behind
those. Yeah.
The funny thing is that the way the world works is so weird. I've been itching for one of those games for so long. I mean, every time I go to the used game store, anytime I look up any games online, I'm always trying to find the next fun side-scroller beat-em-up. I miss those games, And I was just talking about, I wish I can find the Ninja Turtle ones. But all the Ninja Turtle games I find, they are beat-em-ups, but they're the upward angle, kind of over-the-shoulder kind of shot.
Asymmetric, I think.
Yeah, asymmetric shot. Yeah. And it's okay. It feels cool. You can move your guy around. You can fight, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something about just moving your guy from side to side, up and down the map. It was a whole different feel, and I miss that, and I like playing it.
Well, yeah, there is a certain sort of comfort, I think, to a game structured that way. Like, it is familiar, it is easy to navigate, and it just sort of, it's in that thing. It's in that form. It's in that mode. And I guess all I'm trying to say by that is, it moves forward in a predictable way, and then I don't mean anything bad by that, but it's just like
it's comfortable.
You got to go this way.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
You got to go this way.
Because for me, I think of all the games that made me happy when I was a kid, ones that made me comfortable, and that you can just always go to and play and be like, man, I know this is gonna be fun to play. Was Spider-Man, Separation Anxieties, I think it was called.
Is that the PlayStation one?
No, it was for the Nintendo, I think.
Oh, okay.
The Super Nintendo. You played as Spider-Man or you played as Venom. And you had to fight all the sons of Venom.
I never did play that, but I totally remember what you're talking about.
And then there was X-Men. It was the X-Men game.
The Spider-Man and the X-Men?
It was Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
I remember that one. That was shortly after I first got a Super Nintendo. I remember a buddy of mine rented that game, and we were playing it in my room, and it just seemed like such a graphical improvement over the Nintendo. And I was like, I can't believe I'm playing a game that looks this good in my room. I would play it now or look at it now. I'm like, oh my god, this is
now
horrible.
You can get now if you have a fancy phone, you can get an emulator on your phone and probably play that game now.
Probably, yeah. The game was hard as fuck though.
I saw
that game was especially like the first level because you had to play Spider-Man on the first level. And then when you did that, you got to unlock the X-Men and play their levels. Mm-hmm. And that was hard as fuck. The Spider-Man level was beatable, but it wasn't.
The Simpsons had another game that was a side-scroller beat 'em up.
More than... I remember the Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah, you remember that one?
Yeah.
Homer was threw down like an old classic
I think Homer just punched
he just punched stuff. Bart had the skateboard.
Marge had a vacuum cleaner.
Marge had the vacuum cleaner. And Lisa had the jump rope.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember the name of the game. I just remember it being
it was just the Simpsons arcade game, yeah.
Was it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think. Because I remember...
Don't quote me on that. I don't know people.
I remember... There was a Nintendo game that came out afterwards. It was like Bart versus the Space Mutants or something.
Yeah,
that was another game that was just ridiculously hard.
Yeah, I remember Bart's Nightmare was a good game too.
Okay, I think I might have played that one.
Where we went to different levels of his dreams, and there was like ones where he's like Indiana Jones. There's one where he's like flying around like Superman and shooting with a slingshot.
Okay, that's funny. I remember when The Simpsons first came out, there was such an immediate surge of popularity around Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
And I think some of it has to do with being like the age Bart Simpson was supposed to be when The Simpsons came out.
Yeah.
So, I identify it from that perspective. But it just seems like Bart was more of a token character then. And sometime over the next 5 or 6 years as the show developed, it really became a lot more about Homer and his wacky adventures.
Well, because it stuck with you the ages. It's because we've been watching it since we were the ages of Bart, and now here we are at the ages of Homer.
Right.
That's why.
Well, and you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. But I feel like the
wait till we get to the age of the grandpa.
I think more like Grandpa Simpson every day.
Oh yeah.
Back then we wore an onion on our belt because it was the style at the time.
A classic but true one too is Double Dragons, man.
Oh, Double Dragon.
Double Dragon is shit.
Yeah.
It didn't matter which one you put any one of them in front of me. I'll love playing any one of them for hours. Even if it's a really bad one from the Nintendo.
Well, 1 and 2 were really good on Nintendo. 2 was, I think, probably the best one of the Nintendo era. 3, the difficulty just ramped up.
Oh, they were just ridiculous. I remember all of them being bad for me. Because when they were on the Nintendo, I couldn't get past shit without my brother. Shout out to you, Noel.
I couldn't get too far on the first Double Dragon. The second one, I could probably make it the farthest. And then the third one, I couldn't finish the first level. It's just like the scale of difficulty ramped up to an extreme rate. And like Battletoads, I remember was like that too. It was just like, it was fun to play. It was a beat 'em up, you can play with your friends, but good luck getting past the first level.
Bitch.
Really though, it's crazy. And I mean, it's funny too to think about how it wasn't a flaw so much of the game as it was a feature. Because you can only make a game so long. You're restricted by the limits of technology and data storage and whatever. So they would just ramp the difficulty of the game up. So it would be that much harder for you to get to level 2 or 3 or whatever. It's a game you could pick up and play in 5 minutes, but it's a game that takes you 2 weeks to get to the middle boss of the game or whatever, like stuff like that, just because it was so difficult. I don't know. But they would do that. That was a real thing. Yeah. They were designing games. Like, they would make it hard as fuck or make that button stupid when you try to jump and grab the wall. Just so you'd have to keep playing so you could finally get past that part again.
Me and Ellie were playing Golden Axe.
Oh, that's hell yeah.
We were playing Golden Axe on PlayStation Now. I had it for a while, and we got down on that thing, and I remember like just blowing through it with her, and I was like, man, I remember this being a lot harder when I was a kid. But no, me and her, we got on there and we did our thing. It was pretty fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those games too, like really almost were meant to be played like at least 2-player.
Yeah.
Because that just makes it sort of work better. Like the flow of the game works better. Trying to play Golden Axe by yourself, Jesus.
I
They're
love
fucking
that game,
swamping
though.
you.
It was,
They come
it was
out
so
and swarm you.
fun.
There'd be so
And
many of them.
was there ever really a difference between the characters? Because I remember you played as the Amazon lady had a short. She had like a mid-sized sword. The barbarian had like a full like broadsword, and the dwarf had a double-headed axe.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was really ever a thing because we would always fight over the dwarf.
Yeah, the dwarf was the most fun one to play.
Yeah.
Because he would cut those wide swaths, and like you could just.
But was there really a difference between them?
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah.
Or was it just a mental thing?
No, because the girl's sword wasn't as good and it didn't have as much reach, but her magic was like on top.
Okay.
You could collect those little bottles and get your spells or whatever to totally fuck up everything on the screen. When it came to that, the strength of her magic was above the other two characters.
Okay.
And the dwarf had the strongest physical attack, but is the weakest magic. And then the human, the dude, the Conan-looking dude, was kind of like a balance in between the two. Decent attack, decent magic attack, but just sort of overall, yeah. I think the girl walked a little faster, and I think the dwarf walked a little slower. And then the guy his speed would be somewhere in the middle. Like the dude was like the most average.
They had
of the
charges.
both.
They had charge attacks too. Because remember, the girl could. She would do like a jumping, like flying kick, and then the guy would do a shoulder rush, and the dwarf would charge you with his helmet. Because he had like a Viking helmet on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a wild time. Or the first time I ever played that was in the Tri-City Airport, modern day MBS. We were waiting for someone to show up on a plane. And there was an arcade, and I got my mom to give me some quarters, and I saw a golden axe. I'm like, whoa, dude. The fuck is this?
Yeah, it's got a giant, sweaty blonde man with a giant axe in his hand staring at you like,
right, yeah.
Come fight demons and monsters. The skeletons here too, you have to kill them.
I used my first 2 or 3 quarters, and I played the dude with the sword, but then, my last quarter I picked the dwarf, and I was like, holy shit, this guy slays! Guy is knocking shit down.
Yeah, I love that game. It just had such a cool tone to it too. I love the whole like when you chose your character, it was like death holding like these little revolving souls. There.
Right.
Remember that? That was pretty cool. I guess they remade it a while back, and I didn't see anything else about it. I seen it in the stores a couple times.
I feel like I heard about it.
I just never got it.
Yeah,
like,
I heard about it, but I didn't really think about it too much. I didn't really go much farther than that.
I think that's why I like Batman, Arkham Knight, and all the games so much, because the Arkham series so much, because it felt like a beat 'em up game. That's like a new generation of beat 'em ups.
Right. Well, it was like a 3D beat 'em up done the right way.
Oh yeah.
Compared to because like when around the time like the first PlayStation started coming out, like they really tried to redefine the genre and give you new options or new camera angle or whatever, but it never really worked well. And I think, by the time the Batman Arkham games started coming out, they could totally design a game that had that immersiveness to it. That was still a beat 'em up, but like you totally take it in a different way. Like the whole room can be your weapon or whatever, It's
that's when you start involving the gadgets.
We're
talking about if you're just using melee by itself, like that's
right.
It's its own beat 'em up game for sure. Like once you involve the gadgets, you're changing the whole game up. Then the whole room is yours, like you say.
Right,
like,
right, yeah. Well, I mean, you can just use different angles for different reasons. Whereas, like in the older ones, like Golden Axe, for example, if you're donking 3 goblins in this corner, it's pretty much the same as if you're donking 3 goblins in that corner.
Yeah,
it's really the same thing wherever you're doing it. With the more whatever, with the more wide, I guess, wide options for camera angle differences. You really get to take on a different.
I was so good at Arkham City for a minute there. I was like able to like move the camera around me really fast. Like just make it go in a circle while I just beat ass. Like it's so great.
You almost kind of have to. And it gets later on in the game, and there's like 12 thugs in the same room all of a sudden. It's like, oh, holy shit.
Unpopular opinion: Arkham Origins to me had one of the funnest extra challenge modes on there that they had, because you got a challenge mode where you fought 100 to 1 is what it was called. So they sent 100 men at you. Every time you take one down, another one comes in. So you're taking down 100 at once.
Yeah.
And that game was so fun to do that with, because they gave you the electric gauntlets on that game.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the shit there. You would drop one guy, or if somebody had a shield, you can punch through the shield with the electric gauntlets. Some of those bastards with the tasers.
I hated those fucking guys.
Hit them. Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
I hate those dudes, because I would be in a flow.
Yeah.
I would be in a fucking
Yeah.
flow, just not stopping.
Well, that throws it out because you got to cape stun him first.
Yeah, and as soon as he would hit me, I would just see my number go like 99, 90, 99, 100, 105. Oh shit, I want to get 110. It was like 107 hit with a fucking taser. I'm like, motherfucker. 107 or 112 or something like that was my best.
I think that was the one I liked the best. Is that the one where the last boss is Clayface?
That one's City, yeah.
Oh, that one to me,
City
one
was
really,
the best one,
yeah.
but I liked the challenge mode on Origins was fun because you can play them again as Deathstroke,
That's right.
which I thought was really cool. Deathstroke was fun to play with because he had just a stick that he would use like a staff.
Yeah.
But he also had like really rough moves, like he would just like drop your knee out and just stomp it. Like he was, which I imagine Deathstroke fighting like that, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it made me mad because it's like, oh, get Deathstroke as a DLC character. I saw like, oh, cool, get him as like one of those characters to play as. And you fight him in the game first, and when you fight him in the game, he fights with the sword at one point.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm like, oh, he gets to use him with the sword too? No, just the staff.
Well, that's why I love that last boss fight with Clayface so much, because it was
Yeah.
Batman, but with a
With
sword. It's like, whoa!
You can still use all your gadgets, and you have a sword.
That's so cool.
Where's
like,
this game?
This is awesome. What a great little treat for the last fight of the game. I was like, holy shit, this is badass.
What was your favorite skin to wear? As creepy as that sounds.
No, I know.
What was
just
your
you
favorite
mean.
skin to wear, John? Tell me, please.
I think I only had a couple. I really did. I think I got the world's greatest detective skin.
Oh yeah, the
off
blue.
off a code from the side of a can of Nas or something. Like there was that energy drink, and if you got a can of it, you would unlock a special Batman skin. Or that might have been the Batman Beyond skin. I don't remember. I only did it a couple of times, but yeah, I think there was that one where it was like the classic costume. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, the world's greatest detective. That's the blue one, right?
Yeah, blue and gray.
And
It's just the black with the black
The
symbol.
ears are a bit more pointy.
A little
longer.
bit,
Just
yeah.
a little bit longer. Yeah. The black and
Just the black on the gray. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. No, I think you unlock that. That's the first time you beat the game. I think that's how
I
you
don't
unlock.
remember. I don't
I
remember.
think that's how you unlock.
Because
Because
when I bought Arkham City, I bought the collector's edition,
yeah.
and I got.
Oh, you just had everything.
Oh, I had everything.
Very good. Yeah, I got that one right when it came out, and I wasn't. The game system wasn't hooked up to the internet, so whatever skins I unlocked had to be through some weird.
Yeah.
Indirect
A code or
means.
something.
Yeah, it's a code or
for sure.
something, right?
I didn't either. I had to download all mine off the card.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, yeah, here's a card. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck. So I had to go to my sister's house with my PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
Hook it up, sit there, talk with her, bullshit with her, download the stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. So when I go home tonight, I get to do it. Took it home. Did it like, oh, because you had it hooked up to the internet, it needs an update.
Fuck. It's always something.
So I had to wait like a whole 2 weeks to play.
Damn.
Because I was using like Wi-Fi from my neighbors, like putting my PlayStation in the window.
I remember being very. It's just the natural part of life now. I remember being really frustrated with that when that first started being a thing. Having to have your system hooked up to the internet somehow. That bothered me. It's like, no, fuck that. It's just an everyday part of life now. But
Yeah, for sure.
I remember being frustrated with that when they started making that like a mandatory almost thing. It's just there all the time now.
Yeah.
Although I often play the Switch in airplane mode. I don't want them to know what game I'm playing when I'm playing it. It's my business, damn it.
That's great. I guess if you wanted something like Batman but Arkham kind of feel with swords in it, I guess that Shadow of Mordor was one.
I've always heard about that game. I remember seeing previews for it right before it came out. It looked like it would be a lot of fun.
It is. It's basically that.
It reminded me too of that one old PlayStation game, the one that you're like, oh fuck, you're that guy. He was a general. He becomes a vampire, and then the sequel is about one of his lieutenants after he takes over the world or something.
Oh, Blood Omen.
Is that it? Yeah.
Legacy of
Okay.
Kain.
Yeah, Legacy of Kain. Yeah, because Kain's the first one, and it's a PlayStation game, and it's very isometric. Like it looks like one of those old D&D PC games.
Yeah.
And it's very basic in the attacks you can make and whatever you can do. And then the sequel, you're this weird blue guy, and it's like a totally 3D game all of a sudden. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, he's got the weird.
Right.
It's from a comic. He got his jaw ripped off by Kane because of some kind of betrayal or something.
He must have talked shit. Yeah,
if my memory serves correct, he does that. Yeah. So now he lives off of souls, not blood, now or something.
Okay.
Something weird like that. I can't remember all the way.
Not the souls and blood thing, but that's also what happened with Skeletor and Trapjaw.
Mm-hmm.
I think back when he was still Keldor, I think at one point he ripped Trapjaw's jaw right off, and then he got the metal one afterwards, and still works for him somehow.
He didn't mean it.
He's still working for this guy years later. It's like, okay,
I do talk a lot sometimes. Just imagine that, catch him on a bad day. Just turns around, grabs your jaw, snaps it off. Like, good lord, man, that's a dark thing to put on a character. I love Skeletor. Oh, yeah. I love that guy.
But that's the
he's up there with Darkseid with me.
One of the darker backstory aspects of Skeletor.
Oh man, can you imagine that? Darkseid and Skeletor together. A night out of the town.
It would be funny. I think Darkseid and Hordak together would get a lot more done, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Darkseid and Skeletor would be infinitely more entertaining.
That or make it even worse, like halfway through the story, Hordak shows up and then him and Darkseid hit it off. So then it makes Skeletor the third wheel in the back and he's just with them.
Oh, Skeletor fucked it up again.
Yep.
Couldn't keep his cool.
Oh man, that'd be such a good comedy comic. Just have art of that, of just like, you know, him in the back, just upset, sit in the back of the car kind of thing.
Technically, they could do it. I think. I feel. Yeah. The last time they made a He-Man comic, it was a DC comic. Yeah. There was a crossover. There was a Masters of the Universe versus Justice League.
There's been several crossovers. There's one back in the 80s as well, and I didn't even know about that until I had a comic book online thing with the DC Universe thing, the app.
Yeah.
I haven't had it in a while, but when I did have it, I was reading those, and I started reading some of those, and they were pretty wild.
Yeah, that's a cool
They
idea.
were weird, yeah, and it was cool because like something's happening to Superman at the same time it's happening to like He-Man, and like their lives are literally on the same exact path at some point, which leads to the whole crossover of the dimensions.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, that's an awesome idea. Like, why not?
Yeah, fucking A.
Do it!
Just do it!
Take my money! Oh man, I'd love to see that though.
That would be a good one. Yeah. I remember that was the coolest twist I think about the last time I read the He-Man comics. It was like this weird alternate future, and there was this dark force controlling all the bad guys, but it wasn't Skeletor. Like, Skeletor had been out of the picture for a while now, but the whole world was just like this like post-apocalyptic Eternia. And then after like issue 6, you find that the evil force behind everything is fucking Orko, who just finally had it with everyone just joking around with him and thinking he's just some fuck up, and he was like this dark lord of evil. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Can I get some more of that, please? you just inspired me to make Orko on Soul Calibur. I've been making characters on Soul Calibur, you know.
Oh yeah.
Designing them, whatever, and I put them out there. I think that's going to be what I'm going to make.
That'd be a good one.
I'll make Orko.
Dark Orko.
Dark Orko.
Orko.
Cross between acting. All right, John. I appreciate you doing this with me, man. This is awesome.
It's been my pleasure. Yeah, we should do this more often.
Oh yeah. If you enjoyed listening, then by all means, please hit the like and subscribe if you may. And if you don't do that, well, then at least share the video. Get other people out there watching this and listening in on our odd and strange conversations we have. And hardcore fiction is all about making weird stuff sound cool.
Because you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
That's very true, John. Thank you. We'll see you guys again in the next video. You guys have a good one. And later.
Take it easy.